Hello, this is Mary Collardetta, and I'm looking at how to know God's will. God reveals it every day in His Word, and every day He tells us how we should walk. Every day, the path we should walk on. We just got to be willing to listen and be there. Can't listen to someone if we're not with them. You can't have a conversation if you're not connected with someone. So I can think about people and I can pray for them, and all of that is very good. But if I only think about God and don't go to Him, I'm not establishing and developing that relationship. And so much of it is just through His Word. Read His Word and ask Him to show you His truth through His Word. And pray. That's what asking is. It's praying. When I pray, I'm communicating to God. So today I'm looking at a very famous passage in John, Gospel of John, chapter 1, verses 1 through 14. Once again, I'd encourage you to read it on your own and pray. Ask God, what do you tell me about yourself through this? What do you tell me about me through this? And the world and my family and whatever. And your body, your church. And then maybe listen to me. Put it in your heart. So, John 1, 1 through 14. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. The same was in the beginning with God. All things were made by Him, and without Him was not anything made that was made. In Him was life, and the life was the light of men. And the light shines in the darkness, and the darkness comprehended it not. There was a man sent by God whose name was John. The same came for a witness, to bear witness of that light, that all men through him might believe. He was not that light, but was sent to bear witness of that light. That was the true light that lights every man that comes into the world. He was in the world, and the world was made by him, and the world knew him not. He came unto his own, and his own received him not. But to as many as received him, to them gave he the power to become the sons of God, even to those that believe in his name, which were born not of blood, nor of the will of the flesh, nor of the will of man, but of God. And the Word was made flesh and dwelt among us, and we beheld his glory, glory as of the only begotten of the Father, full of grace and truth. So I'm going to look at the second to the last verse. And the Word was made flesh and dwelt among us. So we know that it's Jesus. I'm going to do something just to see what it turns out, and use the word Jesus throughout this scripture. So I'm going to read it again, only placing Jesus there. In the beginning was Jesus, and Jesus was with God, and Jesus was God. This Jesus was in the beginning with God. All things are made by Jesus, and without Jesus was not anything made that was made. In Jesus was life, and the life was the light of man. And the light, which is Jesus, shone in the darkness, and the darkness comprehended it not. There was a man sent by God whose name was John. The same came for a witness, to bear witness of that light, who is Jesus, that all men through him might believe. John was not that light, but was sent to bear witness of that light, which is Jesus. That was the true light that lights every man that comes into the world. Jesus was in the world, and the world was made by Jesus, and the world knew Jesus not. Jesus came unto his own, and his own did not receive him or Jesus. But to as many as received Jesus, to them gave Jesus the power to become sons of God, even to those who believe in Jesus' name, who were born not of blood, nor of the will of the flesh, nor of the will of man, but of God. And Jesus, who is the Word, became flesh and dwelt among us. And we beheld Jesus' glory, glory as of the only begotten of the Father, full of grace and truth. This is all about Jesus. Jesus is the life. Let's just go back. Jesus is the Word. Remember, God created the Word, or God created all that he created by speaking it into existence. He spoke the Word, and the Word became stars and earth and water and animals. Everything in Genesis that was created. But it says, and so this Word, Jesus, was with God and was God. He has been God, with God since the beginning. And everything that was made through Jesus. And in him was life. Remember, he breathed life into Adam and Eve, and they became living souls. This life is light, not darkness. Jesus shone in the darkness. Darkness is physical darkness, it's spiritual darkness, and the darkness comprehends it not, because it is dark. We could also say darkness is lies and well, I don't want to go there because I don't think that's the intent here. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness comprehends it not. Jesus uses the words of someone being blind. And if you were truly blind and wanted to see the true light, he says it's better to be blind and see him. Because otherwise, if you're blind in darkness. So it is about truth. And deception will not receive him. Those who believe a lie will not receive Jesus, because they love the lie more than the truth. But his light shines in the darkness, and the darkness just doesn't get it. And John was sent to bear witness of the light, that all men through him might believe. I'm not sure exactly if this all men through him, being John, might believe, or through Jesus might believe. And I don't think it really matters, because the point is that all men would believe in Jesus, that he is God in the flesh. That's what it says. And the Word became flesh and dwelt among us. John was sent to bear witness of that light, the true light that lights every man that comes into the world. That is God's will as Jesus on this earth, to light every man, bring knowledge of truth to every man. And Jesus was in the world. The world was made by him, and the world knew him not. He came to his own. His own received him not. So remember, most of the world is not going to believe in Jesus. When he came to the Jewish people, most of the Jewish people did not believe in him as Messiah, did not believe in him as the way to the Father. But now there's something important that he says here. But to as many as receive Jesus, to them gives he the power to become the sons of God. You know, the angels were called the sons of God. Jesus oftentimes called himself the Son of Man, but he was the Son of God, and he was demonstrating that he also was the Son of Man to redeem those who were born in the flesh. But then it says here, for those who believe on his name, he gives us the power to become sons of God, to be born not of blood, nor of our will and our flesh, or of the will of man, but of God. We must be born again. And his word dwelt among us, and we beheld his glory, glory of the only begotten of the Father, full of grace and truth. When we see Jesus, we see the Father, and he is full of grace and truth. This is God's will, to reveal himself through Jesus in the flesh. So when we look at Jesus, when we read his word with the Gospels, what Jesus says, what Jesus did, he's showing us the Father. Remember, Jesus said, I and the Father are one. So what is if we believe all of this, then we can say, Lord, it is your will that I become a son of God, because I receive you, and give me the power to become your son, a son of God. Help me to become like Jesus, born of his Spirit. I've been born in the flesh. Remember, the light comes to everyone who is in the world. The light, that light lights every man that comes into the world. Every baby is meant to be. And those that do not see the light of the world, do not live because of abortion or however they perish before being born into this world, they were formed in the womb. God knit them in the womb. They are still God's. So pray about these things and ask the Lord, make me a son of God. I believe in you. I'm going to read your word and put it in my heart. Give me light and truth. Let me sit under the light of Christ. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you like.